Welcome back, dear friends. I'm here once again, with Saladin the Wanderer set. This is just something that's not quite as good as the Aris armor, but it will at least let us get around and do our reasonably fast roll for a little visual change of pace. I will eventually want to get rid of that beret and monocle, but that'll be after I get something else that will allow me to keep my item discovery high. Anyway, this is more I Played a Thing, Dark Souls 2, Scholar of the First Sin, and we're gonna make a little detour this time. Because, you may recall, I found myself at a bit of a loss for Pharaoh's Lockstones last time. And I checked to see where I could find one, and there is gonna be one a little way past that petrified young lady we encountered before, just past Groundskeeper Willie. And I do happen to have a spare fragrant branch of yore. I knew I was saving them for some good reason. So we're gonna go and get ourselves that little piece of equipment. And being as we're going to be rescuing the petrified young lady, we'll meet a new friend while we're at it. And we always like that, don't we? So let's get rid of as many of these poison club guys as we can. And just let him come on out to me. They're a little tougher than a lot of the enemies we've been fighting lately, but still nothing we can't handle. This guy's not paying attention at all. Let's see if I can creep up on him. Success! I'm sorry, but looking at them from behind, they really look iffy. Like, that distended abdomen of theirs ends up looking like a distended nutsack. You know, I wonder if my arrows can pop the doors up here so we can take the ambush guys one at a time. Oh, I think they just might. It is making the door vibrate. And I've got ammo to spare. Now, I'm sure light arrows wouldn't do it, but iron arrows just might. Ah, success. This will definitely make life easier, because normally when you push that switch, all of the doors will open, and these guys will just come charging out at you. Ooh, I pissed him off. Oh, well, apparently if you break one of the doors, they all get mad and bust down their doors anyway, so we'll have to fight them all anyway. So I'll just have to be careful here. Because as you can see, between the poison and the gangbanging, this can go bad in kind of a hurry when they all come after you. Get me out of here. This poison's not doing anything good for my health. As I've mentioned, poison is very nasty in Dark Souls 2. It is about as bad as Toxic was in the original game. Whew. Well, it's like I always say, even the lowliest of mooks can be a major problem in sufficient numbers. Now let's go ahead and have another chug. And definitely appreciating that Estus Flask shard I found in the last update. Yep, sure is a woman ahead. A petrified one at that. And we have a branch for her. So let's go ahead and get her squared away. It's going to take her a moment to get recovered enough to have a talk with us. We'll let her get her bearings. Alright.
Thank you. I've been petrified. Hard to speak. Give me a moment, please.
No problem, ma'am. You take your time.
I'm fine. I think... No. I'm fine. Really, I am. My name is Rosabeth. Thank you so much for rescuing me. Oh.
All in a day's work, Rosabeth.
Oh. You're that traveler. I still haven't thanked you. Well, I'm quite a hand at pyromancy. So perhaps you could consider this my thanks.
Well, I'm not sure what a prism stone has to do with pyromancy, but whatever, we'll keep it.
I was attacked and turned to stone, I think. I owe you my life. If you had not come... Oh, I feel shameful wearing these rags.
You look fine.
I hate to burden you further, as you've already saved my life. But just look at me. My clothes are in tatters. Do you have any clothing that you could spare? I'll take anything, whatever you don't need. I'm not particular when it comes to apparel. Anything at all will do. Just put it on the ground, and I'll change into it later.
So, now that we've met Rosabeth, we can buy some things from her, including a few of the basic elemental defense rings, the flame quartz, thunder quartz, and dark quartz, each of which will increase your defense against that particular element. She also has small blue, yellow, and orange burrs, which are consumable items that briefly increase your defense against that particular element. And 3 fire seeds, which are those items I talked about recently that you need to increase the strength of your pyromancy flame. You do have to pay for the upgrade as well as hand over the fire seeds, so this is an early game place to get a few of those. And she sells some basic pyromancy, including the 2 initial fireballs, first of which we already have. Combustion, which is still kinda handy. Poison Mist, which is really nice now. It's slow to come out, but very nice because poison is so much nastier in this game, as you just saw directly. And of course she can reinforce your flame, just like Carillion can. And one other odd little detail is you can give her some equipment. I believe you need to do this to get her to move to Majula, which we'll want to do so she can have her reunion with Carillion. And of course, we've got a few things we can talk about.
I have my very own teacher. His name is Carillion of the Fold, a famed sorcerer in Melfia, our hometown. I was fascinated by sorcery, and so, well, he's so unique, you see. When he set out for Drang Lake, I couldn't let him go alone. But we were separated. Quite early on, I'm afraid. I'm rather unskilled. My lord probably ditched me. But, oddly, I'm a fast learner when it comes to pyromancy. What we're fascinated by, and we're skilled at, are not always the same thing. Why can't I just focus on what I truly enjoy? Oh dear, I shouldn't be so choosy. It's hardly my place.
Well, I don't think Carillion ditched her. I mean, he seemed to wish her well and hope she was safe when we talked to him last. I can sympathize with the whole not necessarily being good at what you wish you were good at, though. There are all number of things that I wish I had a little more skill at that I'm just hopeless at. But take heart, Rosabeth. You're pretty much the only pyromancy specialist in the game that I can think of. At least the only one we can interact with on this kind of level.
I have my very own... His name... When he said...
Yeah, okay, looks like that's all she's got to say. So we'll go ahead and give her some clothing. Now, this is kind of amusing. It's almost like a little dress-up doll game. You can give Rosabeth absolutely anything you want, and she will put it on. And you can change her clothing again later in the game, if the spirit so moves you. You just talk to her in Majula, and she'll wear again whatever you give her. The only thing to be wary of is when you give her something, it is gone forever. Even if you kill her, you monster, you will not get it back. And it really only actually functions as a cosmetic thing. Whatever she puts on, it'll show up on her character model, but it will not actually give her the defense or any secondary properties of the item. Strictly for appearance's sake. So, just for shits, let's give her the big turtle leggings. And the brigand gauntlets, because they're kind of, I guess, gaudy. And for the body armor, what'll it be? What'll it be? We'll make her a falconer. Yeah, that'll do it. So, yeah, Rosabeth, I'm not really sure you should have said that you would wear absolutely anything, because we're gonna make you look ridiculous. And just so we can continue to leave her face uncovered, we won't give her a hat piece. All you have to do is even give her one piece of equipment, and she'll be satisfied with that. There's no need to cover up her whole body. Oh, and the game even warns you. That's nice. Did she say anything else after that?
I'm rather unscared.
Nope.
What? Oh, it's hardly... Thank you so much. I'm very happy for this gift. After I change into this, I'm heading for Majula. I'm not sure where I might find the Lord. But perhaps Majula is my best chance.
I can confirm, he is there.
I'm going back to Majula. I hope we can meet again.
We will, Rosabeth, and soon, I'm sure.
Be safe.
You too. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is go ahead and pull this switch, and as soon as I do that, well, any of the doors that were still standing up there would open, and if we hadn't already taken out our poison guys, they would all come rushing at me. And also, on the other side of this gate, we will see how it is that she got petrified. Yep, it's those damnable basilisks again. I'm just gonna let it come out here and fight it in the open so that Rosabeth doesn't get in any trouble. After all the trouble rescuing her, the last thing we want is for her to meet with any misfortune. Thankfully, basilisks, as always, are not particularly hard to kill. Now then, we've got a bunch of doors, high and low. And I believe most of them do, once again, have those ugly poison dudes in them. One of them has a bonfire, and I believe, I certainly hope, considering that's what I'm banking on, that one of them will have our much-desired Pharos Lockstone. Could this be it? No, but it is an Estus Flask Shard, which is wonderful in its own right. Ah, and here's the bonfire. Well, we won't rest at it just yet, because we don't want to respawn all our enemies. We'll just do a little more exploring. And we'll have it as a warp point for later if we need it. And these fellas, one-on-one, not such a big deal. Nothing else in here. How about over here? Nope. No, it isn't. Oops. Alright, I certainly hope this last one has the lockstone. Dwarf ahead? True. This is where we will actually encounter our first enemy, Gurm. Come on. I'm right here. Well, he's a little smaller than our buddy Gavlan, but on the other hand, he has an anvil on a chain for his weapon, which is pretty fucking hardcore. And he can take some punishment, too. But, just like the poison guys, one-on-one, entirely manageable. Now you better have a lockstone for me. No! Well, I appreciate the consumable and all that, but I really thought there was supposed to be a Pharaoh's lockstone here. What the hell? Okay. Critical research error on my part. Hang on a moment, please. Well, friends, I am mystified. Data suggests there really should be a lockstone here. Up the stairs and on the left. But that does not seem to be happening. Well, that just means we will have to come back and do the bit of the Lost Bastille that we need lockstones for another time. But it's not a total loss. At least we got to meet Rosabeth, and at least we got that Estus Flask shard. So, hey, we'll call it a win anyway. And the stuff that we need the lockstone for is actually less important in Scholar than it would be in the vanilla game, so it's just as well, I suppose. And also, now that we've cleared a path past the former statue blockade there, Groundskeeper Willie should be appreciative.
What? Clearing the way was your doing, was it? Didn't think you had it in you, pal. No. That's not like it sounds, no. It was a pleasant surprise, that's all. Name's Benhart. Thanks to you, I can resume my journey. If we share the same path, I'm sure that we are going to meet again. I'll repay my debt to you in battle. I swear it, by my sword. The road ahead's going to be long, but I'm here to help.
Well, good. It's always nice to have a new ally, and just like Lucatiel, Benhart is someone that we'll need to summon a few times and have him survive boss battles in order to see his full story. And we finally have a proper name for him. That's also good. I can stop calling him Groundskeeper Willie.
I am in your debt. It's a true man who honours his debts, and I'll see mine paid. I swear it by my ancient sword.
And we can also learn a gesture from him. Joy. which I quite like as a celebratory gesture. I think it's better than any of the ones we have so far.
I am in. It's a true man, I swear.
Alright, Benhart. I look forward to fighting at your side. Let's go ahead and get that gesture equipped. Yeah! I find it looks particularly nice with the Great Shield, too, because you wave it around like you just don't care. I am quite annoyed by the whole Pharaoh's Lockstone thing. I have to wonder if that's something that was taken out in Scholar, I forgot about it, and the guys just haven't updated accordingly. But there will be others later in the game, and we will retrieve them. Let's see. I think this is where Rosabeth would be, so we're going to have to do a little rest to make her show back up. First, we'll upgrade our Estus Flask.
Bearer of the curse, seek lest...
Six wonderful chugs. And there she is, wearing that grotesquely mismatched outfit we gave her. Which actually doesn't look all that bad. Huh. Okay.
Oh, there you are. I'm here in Majula thanks entirely to you. You even were kind enough to clothe me. Thank you so very much. The only thing I can offer is pyromancy. But if that might help you, come to me.
You got it.
I finally tracked down my teacher. But I've decided to keep at it alone. I need to see what I can achieve by myself. Master Carillion and I are from Malphia to the south, a land lush with sorcery and pyromancy. Master Carillion polished his art at one of our renowned magic academies. But he argued that the academies were terrible places to learn magic. This quite angered Master Glocken, my previous teacher.
You know, I really like the cut of these two's jibs. Master Carillion does seem to have a pretty good attitude toward being a teacher as well as a researcher, and Rosabeth, she's gonna keep it what she does best and make the best of it, and I like that attitude.
Once Master Carillion spoke excitedly of this land. He made talk of the remnants of some great power and the deep abyss that surrounds it. I tried to ask more, but he didn't seem to hear. Oh, I'll never be good enough, will I?
Oh, Rosabeth.
It was a perilous trek across the mountains. I faced the most frightful things. The number of times I nearly died.
Well, I guess it's nice that you can laugh at it right now. A lot of people would be kind of traumatized by nearly dying any number of times in a perilous mountain journey.
I finally tracked down my... But I need...
Well, again, I like that attitude. Nothing I really want to buy right here and now.
Be safe.
You too. And does, Master C have anything to say about that?
Your visit is welcome. I trust you've kept up your studies.
Well, yes, if you count my studies in chopping things up with a big sword. The sorcery, maybe not so much.
The forces of magic, it is, I suspect, sorcery.
Well, that's old dialogue, but let's keep trying, see if we get anything new about Rosabeth.
You scroll, but the never I sense a something I wish to just what sorcery was created, but we menaced before. Sorcery and pyromancy thrive in Melfia. I've spent much time there, trying to perfect my art. But staying was a mistake. The fools there had no interest in truth. Their ambitions were paltry, and their smiles cloying. I was sick to the back teeth of their petty squabbles. There was nothing for me in that forsaken land.
Yeah, I definitely like this guy. The pursuit of truth over politics.
So the girl's been here, too. I'm glad to see her safe, whatever that's worth. The forces of it is, I saw. One day my teachings will save you.
Alrighty then. See you later, Prof. Alright, that's enough detouring for right now. I was going to do another detour to a side optional area that we could only do with that Pharaoh's Lockstone, but since I have not yet been able to procure one, we'll just proceed onward along the main path. This, by the way, is that new location that we found beyond Rosabeth's statue, the Shaded Woods. But for now, we're just going to continue with the Lost Bastille. And I believe where we need to start off for the moment is the servants' quarters. Now, you may have noticed in a caption I put in that I forgot about a rather valuable key that I completely forgot about when I was first running through here, and that's what I am going to retrieve now. That, I think, is out this way. Yeah, this looks right. It was on the left in a pile of junk. Let's go ahead and take out this soldier first, just because. Whoops. A little careless there. And we'll go ahead and do a little garbage picking. And that's what we came here for, the Bastille key. And this is actually in a much more accessible area than it was in the vanilla game. In the standard Dark Souls 2 release, the Bastille key was hidden in the optional area beyond the Pharaoh's contraption that I currently can't get to. And there's an optional area there, which is very ripe for invasion, and also an optional boss. So yeah, much harder to get to. On the downside, the movement of the key out to this more accessible place means that in Scholar, that optional area is, well, almost irrelevant. There's not much purpose to it anymore, since the main thing that you wanted to get there before was this key. On the other hand, it still has a PvP covenant and an optional boss fight, so I guess there's that. Just not as much reward as there used to be. Since it was in an optional area before, you may correctly surmise that this key is not vital, but it is helpful because it allows you to open the main entrance to Macduff's workshop, for one, but more importantly, it opens a few doors that will let you make the boss fight of the next area a little easier. You'll see what I mean when we get there. And it is a key to the cells of the Lost Bastille. Long ago, a Bastille lord, driven to desperation by the rapid spread of curse across the land, began to see each subject as a carrier of the blight, and locked them away in droves. This entire Bastille was turned into a prison, and left abandoned to rot with its prisoners. A little more backstory to this edifice. Now then, let's see if I can remember how to get to where I'm going next. I think the easiest way to access it would be to start at Strade's bonfire, so let's go ahead and warp over there. Now, some of you may be wondering what we're even doing here. Just exploring this old prison and what have you. Well, you may recall that our main purpose for coming to Drang Lake was to find a cure for our curse. And when we spoke with the Emerald Herald at the beginning of the game, she suggested that in order to cure the curse, what we would need to do is seek the king. And in order to reach the king, we would need to collect great souls from the 4 forgotten beings who possess those great souls, or the well-endowed, as I cheekily call them. Well, at the end of the area immediately following the Lost Bastille is where we will find the first of those great soul-bearers. So this is the first of 4 steps, ultimately, on our way to finding our way to the king, who hopefully will be able to do something about this old curse of ours. Now, if I remember, there was another citizen hiding somewhere in this area. Well, we got the attention of one of them, and there comes another. Alright, very good. Is there one hiding in here? Indeed there was. Alright, yes, this did put us very close to our needed destination. I think there's a soldier around the corner here. Indeed there is. Alright, we've got one of those pyromancy-wielding mummified jailers there, and we've got a shooter up top. But if we get reasonably close here, he shouldn't be able to get a clean shot at us. Never mind that excellent range of theirs, as always. They actually made this approach a little milder in Scholar. In the vanilla version, there was like a whole spread of shooters up on the balcony there. Now there's only one. And welcome to Sinner's Rise. Oh, hi. I could take some shots at that one down there, but... well, no buts about it. Let's go ahead and do that. Beats getting ambushed or ganged up on later, right? And we'll just scoot on upstairs. Holy shitcakes. I never asked. Anyway, bonfire. And? Light source. I don't believe there's anything over here. I think that may have been just where that soldier dropped down from. Someone's being cheeky, leaving a message on that completely worthless ledge over there. Alright, let us proceed onward into Sinner's Rise. I'm going to keep the hammer handy for the moment. It is technically our most powerful weapon right now, even without the strike damage factored in, because we upgraded it some. And there are more soldiers around here, so we can bash their armor in. Be kind of a horrible way to die, wouldn't it? Just having your armor caved in around your body. Be dead down here. Did we get anyone else's attention? No. Yeah, I think that other soldier, if we hadn't shot him from above, would come out and tangle with us while we were taking out this oddly placed crossbowman here. But since he's dead, he can't do that. What have we got on the ledge? Another human effigy. No complaints there. Oh, there are a few more crossbowmen here. I'm just gonna approach them and make them take their swords out so we can fight them without getting shot at. Whoops. Oh, caught. Ooh, caught repeatedly. Need to be more careful. Oh, got my guard broken too, not good. And I really need to watch that stamina a little better. Well, that'll help with the whole recovering from that part. Alright. Anything else here? No, nothing of import. On the way down this elevator, there will be a ledge partway down that we'll want to hop to. We don't want to do that too early, though, lest we get ourselves murderized. There we go. And we get some lacerating knives, which are just like standard throwing knives, except that they cause buildup of bleed damage. Light source here. Oh, you know I gotta go back for that. I could just pop a flame butterfly, but I'd like to save those a little bit more. So while we head back to the bonfire to get our torch ignited, let's just talk a little bit about the current environs. The Sinner's Rise is a small area. It's mostly just a run up to the first of the 4 well-endowed. Not too many enemies along the way, although there will be one that's a real pain in the ass. I believe there will be some items at some point that have some lore stating this, but just in case I'm misremembering or we don't get them or what have you, the Sinner's Rise is this one specific tower in the Lost Bastille, which is, well, no, actually, there's a little bit more to it than just the one tower, but in general, it's basically Supermax. It's where the worst of the prisoners are generally held, which kind of makes me wonder why Straight isn't here. They were really afraid of him enough to petrify him, apparently. But Straight's been in prison so long, maybe he's been here since even before the Sinner's Rise was established. And this place is pretty close to his cell. I'm just thinking thoughts. Now then, if we were unhollowed here, we would have a summon sign for Lucatiel. We can take her to the first of the well-endowed boss fights, but we will want to clear a path for her first. Now, if I proceed out here, in this watery area, it's shallow, we're not gonna drown. In the vanilla game, there would be 2 enemies here called Enhanced Undead. Real freaky Umbrella Pharmaceuticals looking things. They're pretty dangerous, although you can send the elevator back up and fight them in here because they have a hard time dealing with the hole in the floor. In Scholar, they only appear in New Game Plus or higher. So that's one break they gave us. On the other hand, we're going to have a Flexile Sentry here. I'm sure he'll... there he is. And he's a lot more dangerous here than he was in the prison ship, because you would have to fight him in waist-deep water, meaning it's hard to dodge. On the plus side, he can't follow us through the door, so I can just plink away at him to my heart's content. And I'm going to do that, because I just really don't feel like fighting him with the water handicap. It's just a real pain in the ass. So please bear with me while I slowly plink him to death. If I had an attunement slot and poison mist, that could be useful for taking him out a good deal faster, but sadly I do not. Also, if I had more poison arrows. I did pick some up from Gavlin, back in No Man's Wharf, where we fought our first Flexile Sentry. However, I would like to save my poison arrows for now. They are a valuable commodity. Come on, get back out here. That's an annoying thing about this particular Flexile Sentry refight. He periodically likes to retreat unless you stay in melee range with him all the time. Come on, get back out here. Another thing that's annoying is if you should need to come back here later, this particular Flexile Sentry respawns. So if we die, we'll have to do this shit again. Don't worry, if that happens, I will not subject you to it. I will cut that out. Almost done. Ah, finally. Alright. Now that's the only major enemy in this stretch. We are going to have some citizens hiding in the water, which makes this definitely a little bit dangerous. So I'm going to keep my sword at the ready. You tell me if you see anything before I do, okay, folks? And Blossom Kite Shield. I believe that's a fairly nice shield if you're not into the whole great shield thing the way I am. Because I believe it increases stamina regen, is that what it does? Yes, as a matter of fact, that's exactly what it does. It is a rare shield depicting a blossoming flower that soothes the weary heart of its bearer. What makes flowers beautiful, and why are we comforted when we gaze upon them? Sadly, the flower depicted on this shield went extinct long ago. Well, that's a bummer. But yes, it is a stamina recovery booster, and just like the Grass Crest shield in Dark Souls 2, or in Dark Souls 1 rather, it's a nice bit of equipment if you're a two-hander, because even if you just wear it on your back when you're two-handing your weapon, it does give you its auxiliary effect. No shinies over here. Oh, one shiny over here. Just a consumable, but they are always good to have. Alright, citizens, I know you're around here somewhere. Whoa, there you are. Well, there's one anyway. One of several. So we will proceed very carefully. I am going to want to go up those stairs eventually, because we will need to do so to proceed onward. But for the moment, I'm just going to see if I can bait out any remaining citizens, so that I can take them out and not have to worry about them. Alright guys, I know you're... Whoa, they're everywhere! Oh, God help me. Yeah, that's kind of what I was afraid of. Alright, let's do away with this crossbowman. And then what I'm going to do is just get myself back to the boss area. Get that taken care of. And I will rejoin you where I left off. See you in a bit. Oh, actually, I missed this. Just a consumable, though. Alright, this time I'll cut. Oh, nice. A chunk from the sentry. I didn't know he could drop those. Yeah, we'll just take this a little bit slower this time. Proceed nice and careful. Take out the citizens just one or two at a time rather than getting them all up my ass. Nice. Oh, a lockstone. Well, I know where we can use that. Better late than never. I see you, jerk. Alright, well that's a relief. I think we pretty much got this covered. So let's explore up some of those side stairways. No, you don't. Illusion ahead? Not sure what that refers to. Treasure but torch required ahead. Not sure what to make of that. Can't think of anything that particularly requires a torch in this area in my memory. Here we have a prison cell that we can only open using the Bastille key. Has a Haid Knight inside, which is interesting. Wonder what he did to get locked up in here. Oh, and our very first fire seed. Well, I can't remember if this gentleman has anything particularly interesting to drop for us, so I'm afraid we'll have to bring him down. He's hollow anyway. Oh god. We don't want this to go badly after I spend all that time dealing with the civvies. There. That'll make things a little bit safer. Well, at least he doesn't seem too hard to stagger. Oh, and we get the Haid Spear. Alright, I suppose that was probably worth it. Matter of fact, let's take a quick look at that just to see if there's any interesting lore on it. A spear originating in Haid. A special alloy makes it very durable. The composition of the alloy of these spears remains a mystery, but in Drangleic, the attempted to imitate it resulted in the similar Braden steel. I think we may have seen that before, but can't remember for sure. Well, at any rate, we've certainly seen it now. We can also kind of shortcut our way to the next area if we have the Bastille key here. I don't think there was anything in this particular location. Alright, let's head up the other stairs. And there was at least one citizen up there, because we could see him across the way. I do like it when they're in plain sight. It makes them quite a bit easier to deal with than when they suddenly run up on you and explode. Any civvies here? No? Thank goodness. And in here, nothing but a skeleton. Just double checking to make sure I'm safe. I do appear to be safe, so let's go ahead and move onward. And completely clear a path for our buddy Lucatiel before we proceed onward. Oh-ho, torch. We'll get that on the rebound. I believe in New Game Plus we have some additional enemies on these staircases, but they're not here right now. We do, however, have a treasure hidden under the stairs here. A Radiant Life Gem. I don't believe there is anything on the other side. Now here we have our path straight into the boss room. Thing is, it's a very dark room, and in practice, that means that you can't lock on a very good distance. And since the boss jumps around a lot, that means she tends to break your lock often, which may not be a big deal if you are good at fighting with no lock on. I'm not particularly. And that is all, of course, in addition to the whole thing making her kind of difficult to see. You know what, it occurs to me I may be able to get summoned for a fight here. Let me go ahead and place a summon sign in front of the door, so that maybe I can get myself unhollowed before I have to go back and use a human effigy to do it. Oh, I think I need to be outside of this hallway. Yeah, there we go. There we go. If the phone rings, as always, I will cut out and do the co-op session at the end of the video. In the meantime, I'm just going to go back and spark up my torch and get ready to bring Luca over. And, as I started to say, but didn't finish my thought, one of the reasons the Bastille key is so useful is that it allows you to open those paths on the side stairs that'll allow you to turn on the lights in the boss room. So we can avoid that whole limited visibility and limited lock-on range thing. Very, very helpful. So we'll spark this up. And then we will go turn on the lights. And if I still haven't been called at that point, we'll just go ahead and pop another effigy. You got a big old trough of oil here. And if we put the torch to it, we'll get a nice roaring flame going. And that will give us sufficient illumination when we have our boss fight with the first of the four well-endowed. Oh, and there's a treasure in this one too. Bonus. Alright, I think I can put that torch away now. Oh, and I neglected to mention, there actually is one other NPC summon here. I'm not sure which side he's on. Oh, well, I'm not human right now anyway, so I can't see that. We'll look for him on the rebound. Alright, whoop. Gotta go through that way anyway. So I'll just go back and, if no one summoned me, I'll go ahead and pop an effigy. And we'll bring Lucatiel along. Yep, no one's called, so I'll go ahead and do that. Do wish I was getting a little more jolly cooperation here, but... well, sometimes it's a feast and sometimes it's a famine. Alright, Luca, where is your summon sign? I know it's supposed to be here. Where is it? The hell? I don't think it's upstairs. Oh, you know what? It's because my summon sign is up. Keep forgetting about that. We can't summon other people while we're waiting for summon signs ourselves. Oh, hang on, I'll just put one down here and then cancel it, so we will be free to summon. Do excuse me for all the running back and forth, folks. Well, we will have a nice battle very soon. There we are. The one and only Ms. Lucatiel of Mira. A valued comrade always. Come, fellow knight. We'll see if I can find where that other summon sign is, just so you get to see it. Maybe you do need a torch to illuminate it. I'm not entirely certain. Well, we've got a place to spark up pretty close by if we need to. I'll check the other side, and if that doesn't work out, I will check it out with a torch. Here it is. No torch required. It is sellsword loot. And man, do I ever regret not taking him with me this time, because, you know, the ultimate tank, in my point of view, whenever you can fight alongside him, you do it. But I don't want to totally cheese the boss in a three-on-one battle, so we'll just bring along Lucatiel this time. Now, this foe I don't believe is particularly vulnerable to strike damage, but our hammer is going to be a little more powerful, I believe. Yep. Excuse me. So, we'll just do it this way. Alright, meet the Lost Sinner. She may have put the torches out, but we ignited those big oil troughs at the sides, so she doesn't get to put the lights out for us. Now, the Lost Sinner, aka Lisa Trevor from the Resident Evil remake, has no particular gimmick to her boss fight. She is just a fast, hard-hitting fighter with a big-ass sword. And you can see having her hands shackled together does not even slightly slow her down, because she two-hands that thing anyway. I have never found this to be an especially hard boss fight, but it is an early brick wall for a lot of people, because I guess they're just not used to someone fast who also hits like a truck and has lots of range, and they may not have an NPC friend along either. And notice that her name of sorts is really nothing but a descriptor. She doesn't have a proper name, she's just the Lost Sinner. That is actually important. That's going to be true of 3 out of the 4 well-endowed, and only one of them will be a little different, and you'll see the reason for that when it comes. And you can see why having the ability to do a longer range lock on here is kind of useful, because she does hop around a lot. And being able to tell where she is at all times is a very handy thing. Lucatiel's starting to get in a little trouble, so we'll want to speed things up a bit here. You can imagine, before the NPC summon buff, how hard it is to keep her alive in this fight. But we've done it! Super sweet. And man, did we ever get the soul hookup for that. Alright, I should note that in New Game Plus, she gets a couple of minions, which makes things a little tougher. But they're not as bad as the ninjas in the Flexile Sentry fight, for my money. It looks like the Sinner might have gotten a little bored during her long confinement here. She's gone and scribbled all over the floor. Unfortunately, there's no way of deciphering the text, if in fact it's even anything legible at all. So let's go have a look at the great soul we just acquired. And you'll see it is bigger and brighter than any of the others. Soul of the Lost Sinner, prisoner of the Sinner's Rise. The Lost Sinner eternally punishes herself for the sins of her past. Well, apparently, even beyond her confinement, she's been punishing herself this whole time. Or maybe she confined herself. Well, before we move on, in addition to her namelessness, which will be relevant later, well, sort of relevant, I'd like to mention something else important about this from a sort of a lore perspective. The Lost Sinner is the first of what I like to call echoes. She is a callback to one of the four lords from Dark Souls 1, in this case, the Witch of Izalith. You may recall the Witch of Izalith was tormented for centuries by being locked up in the Bed of Chaos, as her own imprisonment of sorts, and she was being punished for a great sin, which was trying to relight the first flame. And you may also notice that when we had that little cutscene prior to the fight, a bug crawled into the eye hole of her metal mask. Well, that bug sure does look a lot like the bug that we killed with a single strike at the center of the Bed of Chaos, once we completed the puzzle boss portion. So yeah, I am not sure whether the Lost Sinner is a sort of reincarnation of the Witch of Izalith, or if the Witch of Izalith's soul came to inhabit the body of the Lost Sinner and kind of bent her to its will. In any case, though, it is a very deliberate callback, and it is only reinforced by something we'll see in New Game Plus. When we fight her in New Game Plus, we will actually get two souls, the Lost Sinner's soul, and the soul of the Old Witch, which is explicitly the soul of the Witch of Izalith. So we'll get a closer look at that when it comes time to do the second run-through, abridged of course. But for now, that is a valuable thing to know, because, yeah, it speaks a lot to, sort of the backstory behind this game. But I've been chatting long enough, let's go ahead and complete this area. Rewards. We like rewards. Another fragrant branch. Never a bad thing to have more of, and have we seen Elizabeth mushrooms previously? No, this is our first. Specially treated, dried mushroom. Creates a euphoric sensation when ingested. Whoa, man. And restores a large amount of HP over time. Saint Elizabeth devoted her life to helping the needy by concocting medicine and potions. Oh yes, we saw some lore like this before, just on a different item. Was it the Green Blossom? I can't remember. But yeah, the whole thing about Elizabeth being legendarily beautiful, it's kind of funny, since we, having been there at the time, know she was a giant mushroom. But hey, maybe some people find giant mushrooms really hot. Anyway, what we've got here is one of the 4 primal bonfires. Our first. And each of the 4 well-endowed will have one of this beyond them. The only thing we can do here is return to the Farfire, so let's go ahead and head on back to Majula. And I do believe our emerald friend will have something new to say now that we've done that.
You have acquired the soul of an old one. That is more than most undead can say.
Aw yeah, we're special. Why did I think I had an Estus Flask shard? I already used that. Alright, let's hold off on our level for the moment. Well, no, let's not. Let's go ahead and get a bunch of levels so we can finally get that first attunement slot.
Bearer of the less.
Alright. We'll need 10 attunement for our first slot. Very good. Need some more endurance. As well give ourselves some HP. We haven't done that lately. Vitality. Adaptability. I'll start taking up our strength, I guess, because that is what's going to help us get more damage. Another endurance. Now we'll make it another vitality. And I think we have some consumables, so we can further build ourselves up. Hey, big spender. Oh yeah, we have some good ones. Actually, it occurs to me also that we have a fire seed, so we might as well go ahead and drop that on our pyromancy hand.
Hello again. How have you been?
Just dandy. I just destroyed an ancient, powerful being. Our first level up will just be 1,000. That's an easy expense to swallow. But if we wanted to do any more right now, we would have to spend 8,000 to pop, and I don't need pyromancy that badly. Let's buy Poison Mist, though. Good to have.
I'm always here, so come and see me when you're in town.
You bet, Rosie. And we'll put in another level. And then I have some things to show you over at Mullin's.
Bearer of the less.
Let's see, what'll we make it this time? More endurance. We want to get up to the soft cap for that, which is 20. At the soft cap, you can still get more stamina, but you start to experience diminishing returns. So I want to get it up to at least 20. And now, when you defeat certain bosses, Mullin will begin to stock their armor. So let's go and see what he's picked up from the Lost Sinner, shall we?
You need armor? Go ahead.
Here we go, he's stocking her whole set. The Penal Mask. Mask of the Lost Sinner increases equip load. The spikes pointing inward suggest that this was not only used to bind prisoners, but to torture them as well. Nasty. And the straitjacket. A tightly cinched belt presses against the waist. By now, no one knows what this was used to punish, or for what reason. Penal handcuffs. A device used to restrict the use of the hands. And this will boost pyromancy. It's a little bit heavy for just a single piece of handwear, but at least it won't actually bind our wrists, we just wear it on one arm. And I won't be making heavy use of pyromancy, but it'll be a nice thing to have. So I'll pick that up when I have some cash to spare. And the tattered skirt that the guilty wear in shame. I recall this being actually a pretty good piece of leg armor for its weight, which is not terribly heavy. It does, on the downside, require Twinkling Titanite to upgrade, so maybe I'll pick this up eventually. We shall see. Let's see, we've seen everything else he has, right? Yes.
Are you sure? Well, I may sell out while you're away.
No, you won't. Alright then. I think that's about everything we can do for the moment. And, next time, we'll be able to finish up, I think, with the Lost Bastille for a good while, because we have that lockstone we can now use to get into the optional area with the optional boss. So I think we'll be doing that, and then we will move on to the next path to the next of the 4 great old ones. Until next time, it has been a pleasure, as always, and I hope to see you next episode. Unlike the 4 old ones, I may not be endowed with a great soul, but I am honored to be endowed with great supporters, like Justin Carpenter, Nolden, Zangamarth, Charlie Dunst, Anonymous Benefactor, John Madigan, Johnny Millennium, Sanguine Games, Misha Van Doren, Craig Patterson, Frank Grizzy, Tim J., Lolo De Puzzlo, Joshua C. Ritchie, Jared C. Rice, Darren Chow, Sonic Rose, EX Potemkin, Alicia Goranson, and Argyle Jelly. And I am also honored to be supported by many other patrons, subscribers, commenters, and watchers. Always a pleasure, folks, and take care till next time.